Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's a great day for a Pirate Broadcast, and we have a brand new pirate in the room. I'm so excited. How are you doing, Darleen?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Russ. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited as well. And you know, it's been a while. We first met, we were actually on Gabriel, his podcast. I think the episode that we were on went for 4 hours or something like that. Crazy.
Yeah, I got caught up in that somehow with all those.
It's like, holy cow, how is that even possible that we go on for 4 hours? And then later on, I think you went for 24 hours with the XXO podcast.
Yeah, great. The connection's so strong, and the relationships and the bonding, and just, everybody really getting along and just letting their true colors come out. It's just been really a process of growth and development finishing 2020.
Well, and that's an area of business that you work in, is helping other people that may not be as gifted or available to work and things like that. So you're really open and empathic and, kind of compassionate towards the underdog that is looking for a new adventure in their life, right?
Yeah, I think that's been a mission of mine my whole life. Ever since I was really young, I knew I wanted to study psychology and understand people and help people. And I always knew that I had that emotional, empathic side where I just wanted to be around people. And I ended up, I was in the military, but after the military, I really knew I went to college, I got my degree, and I really just started in on working with individuals with disabilities. That one of my very first jobs in a group home, with intellectual disabilities. And stayed there for a couple years. I loved it so much, just that connection and learning how to communicate with someone with different disabilities, and being able to connect with the soul, the spirit of the person. It doesn't matter on the outside what their abilities or, what their barriers were. It was just that connection. So
That's
you
an
can find
amazing.
that in anybody. You can find that in anybody.
Oh, we all have our things that we could, talk about and bring up, and that's the beauty of life, is that we're all imperfectly perfect.
Absolutely.
We all have our place, we all have our space, and our journeys aren't necessarily the same. However, we all have to go through our own journeys, and that's what makes us unique and individual. So it's
Hmm.
magic when you have the opportunity to find something that someone enjoys. That has to
Yes.
be a special gift to you, right?
A- Absolutely. And actually, now that you bring that up, I figured that for me, that's one of the ways I always start my work with someone. When I'm working with someone, it's always at strengths. Let's focus on your strengths. What are you good at? What do you like to do? What are some of your hobbies? Let's start there. Tell me what you like to, do you play an instrument? Do you like to cook? Do you like to read? Do you like to write poetry? So it's always, for me personally, I've always found that like it's the easiest way to start building that rapport and that trust and let them know that I'm here to work on them with the positives that they have. I'm not here to tell me, your medical history, tell me your disability, explain to me what you
Right,
can't do.
right.
For me, that's just never been something. And I always tell them when they start there, a lot of people do. A lot of people want to start there when you're helping individuals with disabilities or with mental health issues. They all want to start, oh, well, I'm this and I'm that. And I have this diagnosis. And I'm like, no, I don't need to know that yet. No, just let me get to know you. What
Who
do you
are
like to
you?
do? What do you like to do? Where do you
Yeah,
come from? Tell me about, are you from here? Are you from somewhere else? So it's always like that, just kind of getting a feel for them and letting them feel comfortable and know that I'm not here to, what can't you do? And let me stick you in a very typical job.
yeah.
Let me point you to those stereotypical jobs for people with disabilities. It's
Let me put the
something I
round
avoid.
peg in the square hole. So,
Yeah.
well, I just have to admire your ability and your opportunity to help people like that. And I know and have experience. I have a brother, my younger brother, my only brother is disabled, and so growing up with that was challenging at times. And I always had a soft spot for the underdog, and had a little bit of empathy for people that were not able to protect themselves or be there for someone else. And
Yeah.
it's really, and I don't share a lot about that, because it's not all rainbows and unicorns all the time. And so it's a really powerful message, though. It really something that people have to understand, that if you just have a little bit of empathy and a little bit of compassion, it can take you a long way. So I
Yeah.
thank you so much for doing what you do.
Oh, I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else.
I love that. And also, we were talking before the show, Darlene, is that the idea that social media really has, it almost amplifies the good and the bad. The news is out, and it's like, well, protect yourself, protect your time from the intellect. And
Hmm.
also, the gaming culture, and there are people that are making multi-million dollars just playing games. And it's just amazing to think that, okay, somebody that could play a game really, really well can make as much as some athletes out there playing games in real life. And it's a completely different world than we lived in before the internet evolved into this space, and
Right.
it will continue to evolve. So
Absolutely.
how have you noticed that impacting your life, and enriching your relationships?
This year,
Yeah.
it's been so life changing for all of us. I knew I had a really good conversation with some of my office colleagues before we left back in March, and I said, "This is going to hit, and this is going to change. This is like almost biological, chemical warfare, if you want to think about that, because they teach you that in the military. You got to prepare."
Yeah.
And I think Steve Jobs had predicted that this would be something that would be one of the ways that the world would change. So, with that being said, I think people don't never realize that it could happen. But I kind of knew, you kind of in the back of your mind, like, what if something like this happens? So, with that, I embraced it. I really did. I embraced it. The camera, the video, the zooming, the Microsoft Teams. Um, I embraced it, and then you start to kind of realize how you can use it, and how, for me personally, that's what it was. It was just realizing, like, wow, this allows me an opportunity to reach more people.
Yeah.
How could I use this to, you know, um, work with other people, inspire other people, let them know that there's resources out there, there's people out there that really care about them, that have disabilities and respect that their abilities. So, I've started to, I've been hanging out with some of the people out there in our live streaming community. So hopefully that's something I really want to go for in January and kick it off for 2021, maybe just on the side, being able to. But with social media, you got to be able to decipher what's healthy for you and what's not. And I know when to stay away. Like, social media has never really been a super important thing to me.
Yeah.
Um, my focus is not social media or creating content. It's really hard for me to be a content creator. I don't consider myself that. That's something that I would have to learn along the way in 2021. But my focus has always been people, and 2021 has allowed me to continue that and find new ways to connect with people. So, and that's what I want to take into 2021, is just continuing the connections, continuing the networking, and creating something where people can find refuge, resources, and comfort,
Yeah.
security. Yeah.
It's really amazing to think how much value you can add to the community. And the pirate community has been so amazingly diverse, as well as
Absolutely.
supportive. And because we talk about so many different subjects, like we were talking about earlier, is the conversations. I mean, just look at this conversation. You're one of 3 people that I know that have actually worked on the C-130.
Yeah, that's my bird. That's my
And it's
bird.
like, yeah, it's like, and what you're doing now is completely different than what you were doing on the C-130. And it's just like,
Mhm.
that kind of diverse environment, diverse work
Hmm.
type, the things that you're doing, all of that stuff is really, really, that's what builds the fabric of humanity
Yeah.
is the diversity in your experience. So how does
Oh,
that
yeah.
how does that experience help you now today?
It's something I seek. I'm always looking for someone, not always, but I'm always helping them find what's unique about them. Again, going back to those strengths. What's unique about you? Let's let's build you from the inside. Let's look inside first and find
Yeah.
those internal strengths. And a lot of people don't realize that. All they see is the anguish, the pain, the
Mm,
the stress, the problems. So you want to be that person to help them say, okay, I know you see all the outside, but let's look inside because there's a lot of good stuff there. A lot of good stuff there. And that's
yeah.
something that you want to use to your advantage. Um, so I do that a lot. It usually starts with a resume because I work, helping people find jobs as well. And even the resume, just, going through that activity, it's telling. It really helps them boost their self-esteem. And I
Mm,
really enjoy inspiring people and letting them build strength, building their own mental strength. I love mental health. I studied psychology. I want, grad school for that, but not licensed. But the people, the helping, just continuing to create safer and more comforting spaces is definitely important. And using that social media to create that to offset a lot of the negativity, a
yeah.
lot of the negativity. There's a lot out there.
Well, I think people slow down for a train wreck, right? They slow
Yeah.
down for, and it's human nature to observe um, catastrophe, damage, things like that. And it's easy news, and it's an easy target. However, I think humanity would be benefiting a lot more if there were stories of humanity doing good things,
Yeah.
you know, because you see it online, you see it in social media. There's a lot of posts out there where,
Hmm.
believe in humanity kind of stories where,
Yeah.
somebody does something kind along the way and along the journey. And, the whole premise of the pirate broadcast is kindness is cool and smiles are free. And it's,
Hmm.
and it's,
Yeah.
it's there for a reason because these kind of conversations might help someone out. They might be listening tomorrow or next week or next year, and they might catch something that you said or
Hmm.
something that was in a conversation that allows them to say, I do not feel alone. I do not feel like it's, um, something I can't live through or I can't get past. So,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
and that's the whole premise of what we're doing here. And I wake up every morning, Darlene, and I think, what amazing conversation can I have today? So thank you so much for being here and helping me in this conversation because it's
Oh,
so important.
I agree. Thank you. No, it's a great topic. Just going back to the uniqueness, everyone has characteristics that can really they can use to shine and they can use to build their confidence, and that's so important. You got to help them find their individuality and nurture that. I think nurturing that and encouraging them, letting them know that's okay, like that different characteristic or that quirk, whatever, everybody calls it something different.
Uh-huh.
Weird. People say, oh, I'm weird. I'm like, oh, I like weird. Weird's cool. Like, I'm
Yeah.
weird too. We're all weird. You hear all kinds of different things. You hear, I've heard a lot of tragedy in my life. This something that we haven't really dug in, but you touched on it.
Mhm.
I touched on it. Where people start with the negative and well, I'm on the verge of homelessness, or I don't have a job, or I can't pay the bills, or what am I going to do
Mhm.
next month? So when you're working with people that are vulnerable or are susceptible to um, losing the most basic needs, like you can't help but want to say, okay, what can we do? Let's find the resources. And that's all fine and dandy, but even just like the conversation, like even if I know I'm just going to see them for one time and they might come and go and I'll never see them again. I always want to leave like one seed of you can do it. You're going to get through this. Just remember this one thing about yourself.
Yeah.
And you hope that goes with them. When I worked with kids in the system in foster care, and that was always something in the back of my mind, like maybe they're going to remember me. And I do still have some foster kids, or some, they're adults now. They're adults now that I still have connections with that used to be my foster kids. And they're like, Miss Darleen, I'm never going to forget you. How can I forget you? You were there for me in one of the hard times I was in foster care, and you always kept me going, and you always came to check on me. So absolutely, just any interaction or any conversation that I have with a person, it's always like hopefully giving them something like a little nugget of confidence or self-esteem,
Yeah.
because I know how important that is to me.
Yeah.
I have my own mental health issues and my own things that I deal with. So, like, the kindness is why I'm such a fan of this show, because kindness is so important. It's just a value that I don't think a lot of people really focus on or really consider, or
Yeah.
maybe even teach their children kindness. Like, you got to be kind. I think you hear, oh, you got to be good. Sit down and be good. But kind, respect, consideration, those other
Curious.
words.
Curious
Yeah.
is good. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
curious. So just teaching kids and naming those values and teaching them that you're teaching them a value. This is
Yeah.
something you're gonna use as a tool for the rest of your life. But we live in a different society now, and I think a lot of people are taught from external sources.
Hmm. Well, think about this.
Educated.
At the beginning, at the end of the 1800s, the 1900s, in the industrial age, a lot of kids were, they were tossed in the factories. There was no child protection laws.
Oh,
There were
yes.
no, the people had a lot of kids to help out on the farm. They had
Mm.
work to do. They had things to
Oh,
produce, and if the family didn't produce it, they didn't eat. And a lot of kids in those early days that, my parents or my grandparents' generation, they were in a mindset of, hey, kids are here to help work, and
yeah.
that's what they're here for. And then we got to the point in the industrial age where, kids were working in the factories, and then that changed and that evolved. And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden school started coming on board, and everybody was in school learning the same thing, learning how to be a good role model in society, and kind of following the rules and stand in line, wait your turn, be
Right.
be a good person in society. And then, like, when I was growing up, um, it was like go outside and play until it's dark and then come in. It's like it's like
Yeah.
I don't know where my kids are. And I remember going. I mean, the first money I ever made, Darlene, was out sweeping on a construction site with a broom. I was probably about 5.
Wow.
My dad had dragged me out every Saturday morning and go to work with him. And I
Values. Another value.
and I and I enjoy working. And
Yeah.
I look back on those. At the time, they weren't very fun because I wanted to hang out and watch cartoons. It was like, okay, that wasn't the case.
Right.
However, it taught me a lot of things, a lot about the value of working, value
Hmm.
of putting in time and energy, and making sure that, I've built homes, I've built buildings, I've been in construction, I grew up around that whole arena.
Hmm.
And so it taught me a lot of values that I would normally wouldn't get. And a lot of people haven't had experience around. So it's a blessing. It's like, this is a gift that not
Yeah.
everyone can have. So
Right. I agree. And where'd you learn the value of kindness? Like, where did you really accept and say, oh, this one's one that's really dear to my heart? And
oh, that's a long story. I have. Let me just start off with saying, and I don't talk a lot about this, but having a brother that
hmm
is disabled, and
hmm
also, uh, I lost my job and my marriage about the same week, and then I went and I took a journey. I took a sabbatical. Some people say I was homeless. I was. I lived out of my car. I traveled. I biked. I went to Mexico, built a church.
Wow.
Um, you know, I have spent time in jail. I've been a fun-loving criminal at some level,
Fun loving criminal.
and and the and I look back, and I found a picture of a car I used to have. I mean, I went off the road at over 100 miles an hour, and I sheared a power pole off at ground level. And it's a much bigger story.
Yeah, sure.
However, the point I'm making is there's been circumstances where I should have been dead, and I'm not. So I'm here for a reason. And I think that reason is to help others understand that you can be kind. When I was in 5th grade, I was probably in a fight every single week. It was just, oh yeah. See this nose? It's broken. And the reality is that I had to practice this. I went through a process and changes in my life that it's like, this is where, I'm going to drop these other things that are not serving me. And I want to move into the world of kindness, and
nice.
help other people see that it's okay to be kind,
Right.
to be more almost stoic in a way, where it's, I don't necessarily freak out about exciting things. I don't freak out about tragedy or being homeless or being, it's like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to pay for tomorrow. It's like,
Right.
I've been broke. I've had money and I've had nothing. So,
Right.
And that spectrum and that range allows people to see a new perspective that
Absolutely.
it's like,
Well, you just shared some things, that you probably haven't shared before. So, that gives people a new
dimension.
Dimension of you, and a little more like, oh, okay, hey, I've been what did you call it?
Homeless?
No, when you were in jail, I don't know.
Oh, fun-loving criminal.
Fun-loving criminal. Yeah, I love that little phrase. That's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have had it. I've had guns pointed at me.
Well, right, and these are the stories that I like to get into, because if it was just me and you and we weren't on the air, I would be digging more right there, because I'm like, I want to hear the stories, but.
Someday I'll tell my stories.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I just appreciate, the show with kindness and how you really want to perpetuate that value. And I appreciate you letting me be here, because it's really important to me. I try to be a very kind person, try to be very warm and compassionate and welcoming and relatable. I want people to be able to approach me. So, if anybody needs anything,
I appreciate you. And I know that others do as well, Darleen. So
thank you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for being a light in sometimes a place that's sometimes not always bright. So
very much so.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to some of the people that have joined us here today.
Who's here? I want to know.
Gahan, hey, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Andrew, buenos
dias.
Fantastic for being here. Michael Baker, he's in from Florida. Thank you so much.
Floridian.
Yes. And Angie is in the house.
Hi.
Love you. So fantastic. Be here. So, and Jesse Roberts joined us this morning. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Here we go. Yeah, that's exactly where I met Darleen, in the last hour of the XXO telethon where we were both on together. Oh, that's very cool. That's very
cool. All-nighter. College. Where's Raquel? That's she was saying it.
I could. Hello, Russ and Darleen. Thank you so much. Welcome to the newest pirate. What a privilege to have you join our crazy crew. Fantastic. In 2021, I want to put this out there. I'm going to plant this seed, Darleen, with you, because I am going to create a pirate, a pirate crew of people that want to spread this word and expand this message of kindness, and we'll be creating something special, because I want to expand it. I want it to grow and flourish, because I think right now we need it. So, absolutely. And then Nancy is here. Yes, Nancy. She's got up early. Nancy, thank you so much for being here. I know you're an hour earlier than we are. So she's so supportive. Love you, Nancy. Thank you so much for being here. And real friendship is an incredible lady you've got here, Russ. So glad to tune in today. I think so. I think so too. So
Thanks, Russ. Yes, you
fantastic.
know.
So Michael says gratitude, inspiration. So who else do we got coming in today? We got lots of comments, lots of comments.
Lots
Melanie,
of comments.
thank you so much for being here.
Good
Melanie's my
morning.
executive producer. She's also my sister. So Nick Dorsey in Arizona. Thank you so much for being here, Nick. Proud to be a pirate. Yes. Fantastic being here. So also Lori. Oh, Lori's in the house. Great
Hi,
conversation.
Lori.
Happy 2021. I love
Yes.
you. Thank
Yes.
you so much for being here. Nick says pirate for life.
Love it. Yay. Pirate.
Gabriel's in the house.
Gabe.
G, hey, good morning. Thank you so much. Daniel Hall. Hey, brother. Daniel, I was
Man,
listening to
Dan.
you and Gabriel. Great episode. Thank you so much. Howard Kaufman's in the room.
That was fun.
Fantastic. Howard, we need to catch up. I wake up and I brush my teeth, I think of you, Howard. So Howard runs this cool company called Oral. It's amazing product for mouthwash and toothpaste, and so it's like there's a connection there. I'm just saying.
Nice.
He's a pirate too. So
Yeah.
fantastic.
Howard's always around.
One of the best connections of 2020, meeting Darlene.
Oh,
Oh, that's so
Gabe.
wonderful. Carol Campos is here. So this is the kind of opportunity we have to really enjoy people as they come through, and over 300 episodes, Darlene, and having these conversations and conversations around kindness. And I've just met so many incredible people. It's amazing. So tell us a little bit about, before we wrap up, what is it that you're looking to focus on in 2021? And, you mentioned a few things, but I just want to make sure that we have the opportunity to. We got a visitor. Oh, so fantastic.
Okay, he's okay. There we go. Sorry about that.
He's okay. Good
He's okay.
deal.
Yeah.
What a precious guy. So
Thank you.
your intentions, you have some intention for 2021, helping more people do some good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to, again, expand ways for communicating and reaching out to people that may need some sort of assistance this, upcoming year. I know that some of my experience is rather different than a lot of what's out there, so it's kind of hard trying to figure out if it's something. But it seems like it's being welcomed. So hopefully, I can expand on, that intersection with people with disabilities, employment, mental health, and just continue to be assistance. And even working with businesses, I've worked with that in the past. Not really, but just a little here and there with networking. And it's really important to be available to expand on that.
Yeah. Hyatt Ives says, "Are my comments coming through?" Hyatt, this is uh, the first Facebook message that I saw come through. So I don't know if Facebook is having problems or not. So we'll see. All right. We're wrapping up so we can do this. So thank you, Darlene, for being here. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to 2021 and many more conversations like this. And I'm sure that we'll have to dig into a private conversation.
Oh yeah,
So
we'll get that off air.
we can find out a little more about Russ. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm available anytime.
thank you so much. And as always, have a moment, reach out and make connections so people can find you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn. I set up a Facebook business page, Silver Fox Talks. I have a website. I'm not a techie, so my website's kind of DIY, but
That's
I have
fine.
one.
That's perfect.
And I know we haven't even talked about Dub. We'll have to talk about Dub some other time, but
Oh yeah, we'll schedule time to talk about
yeah,
Dub.
we'll
One
talk
of my
about Dub
favorite
some other time.
platforms.
Yeah. I've got so many questions about that, and I've been trying to explore. But anyways, yeah, LinkedIn is just probably one of the better ones for me.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Hmm.
So everyone, connect with Darleen. Tell them you're a pirate. Reach out, connect. She's an amazing individual that you need to know. She's very, very, very kind, and she fits right into the groove of kindness is cool. And so thank you for joining us. We've got the rest of the week going on. We got lots of people coming in, and I would really encourage everyone to help me in 2021 get this message out. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and share it. I got a podcast out there. If you don't have time to watch and sit down and watch the conversation take place, you can always listen to the podcast. And all of that is available on russjohns.com. And so go out, share it out. And, I want to make sure that messages like this and conversations like this have an opportunity to reach more people and encourage you to take action and bring some kindness into your world. So thanks again, Darleen.
Thank you.
Kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. See you soon. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.